Took a lady's body to the morgue yesterday, and the amount of joy and happiness that was surrounding the body was just phenomenal. Sound a bit strange? Let me explain. Well, for people who don't really know me, I work in a hospital, and part of my job is to enter a room when a person has passed away and take their body down to the morgue. And there's a couple of things that have happened over the years associated with this. And the thing is, with this lady, what I normally do is when I enter a room, I tend to feel whether the spirit is still around. I try and figure out whether the spirit has actually crossed over or not straight away, or whether there's still a little bit of it's been the case where I've entered a room and I've actually seen or felt the spirit having an anxiety attack, wondering why they've been placed in a body bag. And in cases such as that, if I have the chance, I get and these guys are agreeing with me. If I have the chance, I have a bit of a chat to them and try to calm them down a little bit and explain to them what's going on, and hopefully explain a little bit about what needs to happen from then on to their spirit, and sometimes help them cross over. But I didn't have the chance yesterday, so basically when I walked in to pick up the body of this lady, a couple of nurses came in with me and we just sort of more or less got the job done. But as I was going down the elevator, I started to pick up on my senses, being a medium, an empathic sensitive, and I asked, I put it out there and I said, has this lady passed over? Has she crossed over okay? And suddenly there was a feeling of gold light in the elevator, and a feeling, a sensation of joy and happiness. And to me that was just a great sign that this lady had crossed over, which was a big blessing for her. And other times there are, as I was saying before, you do have spirit that hang around the hospital a little bit, or they stay earthbound, try to reconnect with family, and sometimes you get spirit that don't really realise what has happened, and if you get a half a chance, you can put on your spiritual counsellor's cap, and that's what you do, you know, when you're working with spirit in varied ways. Sometimes you've got to put on a spiritual counsellor's cap, have a little chat with them, try to work through their anxiety and their fears and help them cross over. Geez, I love these guys. You'll have to excuse my shaky hands. It's a little bit cold out here in Ballarat today, but it's such a lovely area. Hello guys, you want to come say hello? Would you like to come say hello? Can we get a bit closer to you? No? Oh no, I'm going to swim off. What about you? Beautiful black swans. We've got quite a few of them in Lake Windaree. And this area is such a beautiful area for wildlife. So over the course of the next few videos, I'll probably be doing a few vlogs on different subjects. See what comes up. We're doing a little bit of remodeling to the Botanic Gardens here in Ballarat. Be interesting to see what they do with the fernery here. Just have a bit of a walk through the Botanic Garden. There's a lot of fantastic statues here. Thomas Stoddard made quite a few of them, or the majority of them actually. He was quite a prolific character. It's lovely gardens, even in winter as it is now. And they tend to vary the flowers and plants. A few more swans over there enjoying the gardens. This one here is one of my favourites. Lovely little area. Some fantastic statues. This is called the Flight from Pompeii. Awesome statue. So I've got the K2 set up here, and if there's any spirit around here, I come with great respect. If you'd like to communicate, come close to this meter here and you can light up the lights for me, just to let me know that you're here. Just have a bit of a wander around this little section again. I really like these statues. 1884 was the year that Thomas Stoddard created these, or started creating some of these statues, and gave them to Ballarat to place in the gardens. It's a great little gardens. We quite often walk here because it's more or less our backyard. Very privileged to have this sort of an area very close to where we live. We enjoy walking around, checking out the swans and wildlife. And of course, you know, the lake, the water is such a grounding element, as too are the gardens. And quite often we do sense spirit just wandering around this area, because there's a lot of history here. So if there's any spirit here that would like to communicate and use this K2 meter, feel free to do so. And yes, we have our own statue of Wallace. Swans, swans everywhere. Hello. You want to come say hello? What's that? What's going on? It's a really well set up gardens here. I can't really remember the date of when it was established, but it's been here since the 1800s. We're just coming up to the section that's called the Prime Minister's Avenue. And the reason behind that is because there are a whole heap of busts Prime Minister's Avenue, a unique collection of bronze busts representing the Prime Ministers of Australia. Show you a couple of quick examples of some of the busts, but the whole avenue here in the gardens is lined with these busts. Brought a K2 with me as well, so we'll just check out if we get anything. I've got a bit of wobble in the camera. It's because it's so cold at the moment. So you'll just have to forgive the shakes a little bit. Got a K2 here, so if there's any spirit around, any of the old workers that used to work at this garden, any of the Aboriginals that were in this area here was very prolific with the Aboriginals before the white settlers came in, and unfortunately some of them were moved on, or a lot were moved on, as the whites do, and unfortunately some were slaughtered. And there's some dark history here in Ballarat, which I won't go into at the moment, but if there's any of the old Aboriginals here, or any of the original white settlers who created this area, feel free to come forward, come close to the K2 meter. And I ask this with respect to you, people who once lived here. Feel free to communicate with me, come forward, see if you can create some sort of communication with the K2 meter. All over this garden, lots and lots of busts. William McMahon, one of our famous Prime Ministers. Gough Whitlam, another famous Prime Minister. And Malcolm Fraser. And this, I wanted to stop here. Robert James Lee Hawke, Prime Minister, 1983 to 1981. Now this guy was considered the workers' Prime Minister. I'm going to put my K2 up here, I think. I'll sit up there. If there's any spirit here who'd like to try and communicate, you can try and line up the K2 meter. Just want to tell you a little story about Bob here. He was considered the working man's Prime Minister, and I found it was very true. Many years ago, back in the late 80s, I was working, oh geez, I've got the shakes today, I tell you, it's so cold out here. Back in the late 80s, I was working at a hospital and a new wing was being opened, and Bob Hawke came with all his minders to open up the wing. And basically he came into the building We chatted for a very short while to the hierarchy, to the management of the hospital, and us guys, we were orderlies, cleaners, we were standing at the back just watching the proceedings, and all of a sudden we saw him part the crowd, did a beeline towards us guys. There was about 4 or 5 of us. And he came up and he said, "You guys got a beer?" I said, "Oh no." And he clicked his fingers, he got his minders to go and get us a beer, and he had a beer with us in the chat. Very, very down to earth man. Much respect for Mr. Hall. Adam Lindsay Gordon was another prolific character. This was one awesome infirmary, and they've obviously ripped apart the whole place and attempting to remodel it. This is Adam Lindsay Gordon. When this cottage is open, they've got a lot of arts and crafts in here for sale and some interesting stuff. This area here is the North Gardens. They have a lot of rock festivals, a lot of summer concerts. We have some pretty good name artists here. We have the Angels, we have Susie Quattro's come and played here. Some quite big names. And this particular cottage here has just been brought from a different area. This is called the Gatekeepers Cottage. A little bit of history on here. There's not a lot to see in there, but they will open it to the public. This reminds me of when I was in school. I had these little tap things like this where the kids used to drink from. Get a bit of a look in there. Not a lot to see. Not in there. I think once they remodel it, they'll put some old furniture and bits and pieces in there. Ooh. The battery's going a bit low, so I'll have to cut this one short, I think. Alright, cheers for now. What's up? What's going on? You all run up to me for some reason. A whole lot of you just ran up to me. I've got nothing for you. No, I've got no food. Nothing here. funny thing is, you've got a little bit of a spiritual side to you. You find all sorts of animals and birds flock towards you. They can sense your aura, pick up your energy. Sometimes you have stuff like this happen all of a sudden for no reason at all. I've got no food. For some reason, animals flock towards you. You're a noisy bugger, aren't you? Let's see if you follow me. You gonna follow me? Nope, you've decided I've got nothing. See you guys.